Hey traders, this is Taylor with Top Pick Trading. I want to give you guys your Wednesday chart review. You can see it was FOMC day, so you want to be flat probably an hour before and maybe 30 to 45 minutes after the announcement. So that's about 1 p.m. Eastern to 2:45ish p.m. So you can see for the day it was a very weird day. Not too many trades, in my opinion. Nothing set up properly, or it was just kind of confusing what was happening. It looked like we had this uptrend with a break, went sideways, and then we got a retest of that uptrend with another little uptrend here. Mack had this on his mid-morning chart. It looks like this held as well. You got just this little overshoot up here, and then it reversed and went sideways before trying to make a second leg up. And if you try to get that measured move, looks something like this. You can see we didn't quite get there. So maybe about 12 points away from it. So that's how I saw it overall. So let's get started on the actual trades. So 8 o'clock Eastern came right in here. We had this downtrend, the break and 2 legs to a new low. We push up here, get a higher low but no setup. Strong micro uptrend here, and this was kind of the MO of the day. You'd get a strong micro uptrend, and then would chop sideways and get a new high or push it below the MA. So you'll see that several times throughout the day. So anyway, we do chop sideways, we get the new high, we push below the MA, we get this little higher low here, but the uptrend's potentially already played out. This micro downtrend's pretty strong, so you probably want to wait on a failed second entry short before you trust that. This technically is a second entry long, but I don't know if that's really enough. This move down was pretty strong, and now that uptrend's played out, so I didn't mark that. There's some support across there, but just a little bit too risky in my opinion. So, but it does push higher. We get this move down here, pushes down into the below the MA, and then we just chop straight sideways here. You get a failure here, but just straight sideways, so doesn't really mean much in my opinion in the middle of this. It is a nice little bar, but right under that resistance. It looks like it would have worked, but it comes back again, pushes higher, and at this point, you don't really have this big trend yet, and you don't really have this trend yet either, the spike in channel, so just kind of confusing what's happening. We push the micro uptrend here, break a new high, you get a second entry long, but huge bar, and it looks like all of your uptrends have played out. 10 o'clock news item here that caused that huge spike. Pushes higher, comes back, and at this point you may have had this. Mack certainly had it early on, so if you had his mid-morning chart, you would have seen it, but we do bounce right at it, but no way to take it because you got the strong micro downtrend. We get a failure here, but congested on the wrong side of the MA. Higher low here, but still congested. Bar's not great either. Ends up pushing higher, chop sideways. Get a second entry here, but it's just all this is so far from the MA, so very difficult trading. Not many setups. Ends up pushing higher. We get this not strong, but intact micro downtrend to the EMA. You get like a fourth entry right here, so no setup, and right into that trend line as well. It's a good bar off the EMA, but we've seen that a lot lately, and they fail if it's not one of the setups we actually take, like a second entry, for example. But it does push out of that, and you get this failed second entry short, and technically, if you treated this like a double top, it's almost like a second entry long as well, but so sideways, still kind of far from the MA, and the setup bar is the wrong color. So I marked it orange just as a good spot for context. If this clearly pushed back to the EMA and maybe failed right in here, right on that EMA, maybe you can take it, but it's just so sideways there. You are expecting a new high of this blue uptrend. The context is there, but unfortunately the local price action just doesn't set up very well for us. It does push to a new high, coming back, and you get a first entry, second entry, and then it breaks below. You get like a higher low, or not even really a higher low technically, like just a third entry. So it's tempting, just feels like it's going higher right there, but I don't think you can take that trade. Kind of congested as well. Actually, it kind of looks like a repeat pattern of this a little bit. It does end up pushing higher, drops back down, strong micro downtrend, break, retest of the low, and you can see this is where this big channel comes into play. I don't think you want to blindly buy this because we came up short of the upper side. It's a huge bar right into the EMA. It backs up on you and ends up working out, but I don't think you want to risk that. You can see this range behavior we have here. We get this like first entry, second entry, third entry, and then we get this lower high, but it's so sideways right into the trend line in EMA. It's hard to trust that either way for the long or short side. It does end up dropping strongly lower. Micro downtrend with a break and new low. And now we bounce, not really bounce, but more grind up this spiking channel. If you had Mack's mid-morning chart, you see that he had the highs right here. Just barely an overshoot right there, maybe. Anyway, he ends up chopping higher. This is like a double bottom, so you get a failure here, but wrong side of the MA, kind of right into this resistance area. You get this higher low and technically a second entry long, but it's right into the highs. It's still pretty sideways across there, so you know, I don't really like that one that much either. Comes back, no setup, first entry. It drops lower, and you get this failed second entry long, and technically you could see it like a second entry short as well. Problem is this uptrend right here doesn't have a new high. It feels like it's going to trap these people blindly buying this spiking channel, but it's a bit sideways, a little bit far from the MA, but that bar is really sweet. So just marked it just so you can see what kind of bars we're looking for, really. Unfortunately, it just a bit sideways and far from the MA by the time it closes right into that low. It comes back again, first entry, breaks lower, and we get this second entry short here, but a terrible bar. It ends up pushing lower, and then we get a second entry short, but everything's played out. Maybe this bigger uptrend's not, but you probably want to come all the way back to the main key entry point of it. I don't know if you would have ticked. Yeah, it would have ticked you in right here. But that's the third entry. So, and then this is an hour before, so you want to wait through the FOMC announcement. During that announcement, we kind of chop sideways and push strongly higher here. You get that same thing with a strong uptrend, sideways action, and then a new high. So, like I said, you'll see that a lot today. You get a second entry here, but still kind of a bit volatile right here. So maybe lay off that. And then you get this technically second entry short, but still kind of right in that period. So maybe right in here you start looking to trade again. So you get a second entry short here, but so far from the MA. Then you get the third entry, which is lower. No setups through here. Everything's so far from the MA with huge bars. So you get the break from this big downtrend, second entry, no setup. Bar's terrible. And it also bounced off this support area that we traded up into overall. So you want to probably be leery of this even retesting. It ends up retesting. You get just a first entry right here and a new low as well. So no long setup in my opinion. Pushes higher low, but congested, huge bar. First entry here, no setup. Pushes higher. Lo and behold, same thing. Strong uptrend, chop sideways, get the new high. So it's about the third or fourth time we've seen that today. Fortunately, just a first entry, then terrible bar, pushes to the new high. And you get this second entry long here. This one's kind of tempting. The bar is still pretty huge, 15 ticks. It does close above the EMA. But then it doesn't trigger on the next bar, so that's a reason to stay out. But, you know, there's some support across here. You do have the new high, but this was pretty strong, so it may keep trying to continue higher. And if you had this shallow spiking channel, I don't know if you would have trusted it yet. It's very shallow. It looks kind of weird, but it ends up holding really nicely. You can see the highs held really nice. So I do think it's valid, but the problem is trusting it at the time. You know, I mean, you're just looking at this. It makes it tougher. So I did mark that orange, maybe a bit too aggressive. Ends up pushing higher, chopping sideways, and then getting a micro uptrend with a breaking new high. Pushes lower. Maybe there's a little breaking new low from this micro downtrend. Pretty close. But either way, it bounces right off that key entry point. And you get a higher low, second entry long. The first entry, second entry. Really great bar. So I like that trade. It's right after 330, so that makes it a bit more aggressive, but really good bar there. Maybe you take that one. So yeah, that's all I saw on the primary chart today. So not including orange trades. What? One setup. So yeah, not much at all. Let's look at the second chart that I'll watch with a different little tick offset. We had several more trades today on that one. I got to this one pretty quickly. Had a strong move up, breaking new high again. Chop sideways, nothing through here. Keeps chopping higher. Same action through here. We get this uptrend here. No setups through here, in my opinion. Everything's closing too close to the highs. Chop sideways. Strong move down. Like a test of the support, but you're just not really trusting that the range is going to hold yet because we got held up by the EMA here. So no setups through here. Pushes lower. Chop sideways. This spiking channel keeps holding. Then eventually it pushes lower here. And then on this chart, we get a failed second entry long on the next swing. Previous chart, it formed right here. This chart, you get it right here. Big bar, really far from the EMA. I did mark it green. It looks like it's that EMA is holding it pretty well. But honestly, it may be orange just because of the size of it and how low you're closing. So, and it doesn't trigger on the next bar. So I tell you what, I'm going to change that to orange. A bit too aggressive. But that micro downtrend does hold here, and then you just get the setup of the day by far. 2 legs back, first break of the micro downtrend. Second entry short. There's 3 bullish bars there, but clearly 2 legs there, each with sets of 3. It's perfect 2 legs with a perfect signal bar right at the EMA. Great trade right there, and that one just rockets lower. Comes to the key entry point, or sorry, the lower side of the trend line, and then chops higher into the FOMC announcement. Come out of the announcement here. We get the break, 2 legs back. You get the second entry short here. A little bit better bar, but still not quite good enough. And you're worried about that strong bounce at support. It does push lower. And then you can see it gets held up here right at the support area. Actually ends up being a little bit lower. Right in this area. Bounced here, and we get this higher low here. So I actually think this one's decent. It's still a bit aggressive, and you definitely don't want to take it on the close. The only way to take this is the engulfing. You got 2 points of the EMA if you do that engulfing trade there. So engulfing higher low, I think that's decent. Still aggressive to take engulfing, especially in congestion, but you're far from the EMA, so congestion is maybe an indicator that we're coming back to the mean, the EMA. So pushes higher here. Strong micro uptrend. Break, first entry. Second entry, terrible bar. And then that same setup from earlier, we get a second entry long. This one closes a little bit lower. The support looks a little bit more clear here, so I did mark this one green. Close to being orange too, because you really don't have the spike in channel yet confirmed. The move up was pretty strong, so you may get a second leg. And if you notice, looking at the repeat pattern of this, I mean, the same thing kept happening. You get the uptrend, small break and new high, come back to the EMA, and then you'd push higher one more time. Let's look at the other one. Strong uptrend, break, new high, push to the EMA, and then another leg up. I mean, so it kept happening. Move up, break, new high, come back to the EMA, another new high. So then here, once again, move up, break, new high, comes back to the EMA, and then you end up getting another new high, additional high. So saw that as the repeat pattern. Maybe you risk that one. Still kind of risky. So I'm not the biggest fan of it, but ends up working. Chops higher. It looks like you got to overshoot on this chart. Maybe a small break here. Get the higher low, but huge bar. I don't know if you want to go engulfing on that, so I don't think you can take the higher low second entry on this chart, but maybe on the first one. Yeah, then it just chops sideways into the close. So yeah, difficult day. It's been pretty difficult all week. Very mixed trading. Some clear trends today on maybe a micro level, but the bigger trends were very, very difficult to find in my opinion. Very, very weird mixed trading price action. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you're interested in trading like us, check out our website and our course at topicktrading.com. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.